Welcome y'all to the Flicks, Picks, and the Nitpicks. I'm your host today, s01ep02, and what we're gonna do now is we're gonna just start off and just jump right into everything and get into the breaking news. All right, this is episode 2. All right, bear with me. We're still a growing channel. We're still a growing platform, but we're gonna have some fun today. All right, first off, man, for the breaking news, actually the only breaking news we have, because I have to set it off first with the Disney Marvel acquisition. All right, this is reported directly from the Variety, and what it seems to say is Disney sets March 20th as the closing date for the 21st Century Fox acquisition. All right, Disney has set March 20th as the closing date for its acquisition of 21st Century Fox. Disney announced the formal closing process Tuesday morning, indicating that the company has received the last major approval for the deal from regulators in Mexico. Disney said current 20th Century Fox shareholders will have until 5 p.m. Eastern Time Thursday to choose the amount of cash and Disney stock to receive in the $71.3 billion transaction. Disney said it expects the historic union of the two Hollywood's pioneering studios to become effective December the 2nd. Oh, excuse me, not December 2nd. 12:02 a.m. Eastern Time on March 20th. The completion of the Disney 20th Century Fox deal also signals the emergence on March 19th of Fox Corporation, the new entity to emerge from the 20th Century Fox assets that Disney is not buying. Disney is also assuming about $13.8 billion in net debt from 21st Century Fox. 21st Century Fox shareholders will receive a mix of cash and the stock valued at $38 a share in the Disney deal. Disney said last year when it announced the revised deal with Fox after Comcast made an unsolicited run at 21st Century Fox. I always say 20th Century, I'm so used to it. 21st Century Fox, that it expects to pay about $35.7 billion in cash and issue 343 million new Disney shares to finance the transaction. I won't read the rest of it, but so far it seems that it's official now. It went through the government, it went through all this other roadblocks, and it seems that it's official. It will happen as of March 20th. Whoa. So you know what everyone more cares about is the Marvel properties. But beyond that, I mean, they're acquiring a whole lot, a long library. The streaming wars has officially, I won't say it's ended, but it's only one WB, DC, and Disney. You know, 21st Century Fox just said, F it, we're going to bow out of this. We're going to focus more on news and stuff like that. You know what I'm saying? And Disney making this move, the only other person in the game that's strong enough to deal with them is Netflix, and that's just because Netflix been at it longer and knows how to do it. It's not gonna go through too many bumps. All it needs to do is start pushing out more original product, because when these licenses start going up, they're gonna start losing a library. So they gotta put out as much as they can while they're running the show right now, and they're making bank, but they're also putting a lot of bread in investing so they can survive the streaming wars. And if you ask me, and I hope you've heard it here first, the next thing that's going to happen is cable. When the cable dissolve, cable is going to be the new bundle packages. It's going to find ways to bundle all 3 or 4 of the major streaming services and take a little bit here, there, and there. Maybe even take some of whatever you could get online and do a bundle unique packages for a smaller price, because for people to afford to get all these streaming services and packages, eventually you're going to be paying more than you were for cable. You know what I'm saying? So I think that's just eventually where we're going to go down the line. But the point being that this historic merger is just going to change the game. Now, as it pertains to the comic books, as far as I'm concerned, and I am a direct, I don't know if the word would be that I'm an advocate for, but I definitely side with what John Campea says in terms of how this will affect the comic book movie industry, wanting to keep X-Men and the MCU separate, and I think that would have been the better way to go, because X-Men needs a harder focus. We seen what happened when we focused on X-Men, and we seem to focus more on Wolverine. We have a pristine opportunity if we decide to reboot, and they never said that they were. They never said that they were. But if they decide to reboot, we do have a great opportunity to really develop and mine these characters. Like, X-Men is a universe onto itself. It doesn't really need to share it with the MCU. I will love it as a comic book kid in me, but at the end of the day, like John Campea, and I don't think he's the only one that's actually have said. I think Grace Rudolph actually has said it, the same thing. But once you put them into the same universe, you're gonna have less films. I know John Campea has definitely been on the record to say that, and I definitely co-sign. When you really start thinking about it, there's gonna be less films coming out, and then you have to figure out how to interweave it. And I don't want them to force. X-Men has a rich back history. To force it in, you're gonna have to find an interesting way. If you want to do the Infinity Stones, you could do all of that if you like. I mean, we don't have to get into all of those type of theories to try and weave it in. Sometimes it's such a head scratcher for the general audience. I mean, we'll accept it, but I don't want it to be unearned. I don't want us to force it for the forcing its sake. Let it be natural, because we have a well groomed and well thriving and growing universe onto its own already. Let's not force a whole universe of characters that never were considered to begin with and force them in there, and they come with a back history and have them start now. No, you're gonna handicap them. I don't want to start them now. I want them to have been around. You know what I mean? That's part of the history of them. To do that, you kind of create an alternate version of them when we have a unique opportunity to create as how can you say, because you're not gonna get the exact version from the comic, but we could get as relatively close as we can this go out. Not to say that Fox didn't do a good, like, if they existed version, but certain things they have to do, and the continuity was all over the place. Let's just call it what it is. But it was still done good, you know? I don't want to see us have less films coming out when we could actually create a whole universe onto itself, competing alongside itself. I kind of hope that they keep 21st Century Fox as its own separate division, if you ask me. But we'll see. We'll talk more onto it another day, but that was the breaking news, and we shall see. We shall see. Next up is on comic book movie news. We actually started to see some concept art for the Captain Marvel film. And let's just go through a couple of these, because, and I think one of these days we're gonna have to do some real deep dives into concept art, because it's something that I actually really love. You know what I mean? I love seeing the beginning stages of figuring out how we could take a certain relatively new spin, if not just a new spin, or a realistic take onto a character. Whether we give it a stylized version, needless to say, it's still a live version. And I love to see interesting concept arts of how we get to what we got and what we could have gotten that maybe would have been probably better. But let's see. This one we putting up on the screen right now. No. Don't like it. I mean, unless this is supposed to be like you see, this looks like a bow tie a little bit up at I mean, if you didn't really look hard enough up on the neck, but I don't like it. It looks like just like a flight suit, unless this is just like a flight suit. It's not like a real, you know what I mean, costume. This one is like more like the Kree uniform. I think this is pretty much it. You know, not much to say. I mean, if there was minor detail changes, but this looked like pretty much what we got. This is interesting. I do not like that what looks like a Saturn or a record logo in the middle. Don't like that, but this is interesting. This is interesting. This looks still more earthbound. One thing I will say about her costume, it still looks part of the MCU, which is good, but not because it doesn't look alien to me. I don't know. This with the visor, it's cool, but then with her head out, it's like, so what's that for? Like, can't she not breathe in space? And if she can't breathe in space, and even the mohawk that they have that made the film now, this look like a whole sunroof. So it's like, what's the point of it unless it's just like a face guard for fighting? She can just breathe in space onto herself. You know, otherwise it kind of, I don't know, unless she can't literally breathe, but she can exist. Like, she won't crumble up. She just can't breathe the atmosphere, the vacuum, because there's no oxygen. She in that face mask kind of gives her direct oxygen through her nose, even though I'm kind of reaching a bit because it's like a clot. You don't see no attachment on her nose. You can clearly see through the visor, you know, but I mean, it just looks good. It just looks cool. Yeah, it looks dope. And it looks more like armor, which I kind of like. Kind of like it. I kind of like it, actually. It's growing on me. Yeah. This I really like. I really like. It looks more alien. Down to the gloves. Like, it looks way more alien. I love this. I really do. I really do. This is really dope. This is really dope. Yeah. This is really dope design. I really, really, really like this. It looks more like textured onto her arms. It looks like she doesn't jump into. It looks like a skin suit with relatively armored plates. It looks dope. I like that. This looks too Halo. Too Halo. It looks like what we already have in the MCU, kind of more MCU like. This is interesting because we've seen this already, but this is with the, like, I guess whatever goes around her eyes so she can see. It looks cool. It looks alien. Eh. This is like a black version what we already got. Different color version what we got. This, see, I really don't like that Saturn logo because it looks like, it doesn't look alien. It look like something that we could have made using alien technology a bit. The helmet looks cool, but nah. See, in the visor was not really a visor, like the kind of like glasses over her eyes, the way it's shaped, it kind of gives it the alien with the head, the alien eyes going into the bulb head of what we traditionally would consider alien, and with her human face coming out, you know what I mean? It looks human slash alien merged a little bit. I mean, I probably would have played with the helmet a tad more to see if I could create something a little bit more alien, but not too ridiculous. See, the hair hanging out, I understand why you want hair because of the aesthetic, but then it's just for aesthetic. But her face is hanging out anyway, so it's like, you know what I mean? That means that she can exist in space, so the helmet and all of that must be more of a like a a war helmet as opposed to like something functional for space, like that I need to breathe. You know, like the visor, you could say that could get like space dust when she's going this whatever speed, so it don't get into her eye. And if she could survive space, and she's this OP character, if you will, this overpowered character, I guess the space dust won't mess with her face. I mean, this is me just getting real sweaty with the shit. I'm trying to fit, because you want to, because the idea is to relatively kind of easily explain it. That's why I really like concept art. I'm gonna kind of go through this quick. This is not that dope. We'll probably dig deep another day, but we're gonna do concept art again. This is pretty much what we got already. This is one I like, more like the Ronin accused. I really like this. I really like this with the Egyptian kind of feel. I really like this. I really like this. I really like this. You know, I got a top two. This is another one I like. I say top three because you could kind of see, like, well, these two are it's pretty much just slightly different. I like the first one because it looks more like scales, like skin textured. It's a mixture of the other one that I like too. This one on the other side is dope, but looks more like a suit. Like, I like the other one a little bit more alien. I mean, you want to make her look more alien. These are cool, but nah. What we already pretty much got. This, see, this coloring is more alien. So if you was gonna do anything, if you would have went with this, I'd have definitely took that fucking Saturn logo off. I can't stand that shit. But everything else is dope. I mean, give her regular logo in there. You know what I mean? And when it did that, no, no, no. Why she looks so surprised? No, no, no. The face mask would have been better for someone else, and that's kind of Winter Soldiery. But see, but this would make more sense. It would have been more like, she needs it for breathing, not for her actual head. She could exist in space. Like, this would be like, I guess, to get the dust out her eyes. So she could hear okay. I don't know. I mean, this would have been more for aesthetic. You know what I mean? Nah. Like, striking a pose. No, I don't like this. This is like a spaceship suit. See, and it's just a color that I can't stand. That Saturn logo. Like, where they going to Saturn? Like, if this was like a Saturn, like, outpost of, like, the U.S., I'd get it. But otherwise, no. But that wraps up the concept art. Yeah, if you like this, I would love to do more of these. I might even do a separate situation just for this, because I actually really love concept art, and some of these are really interesting. You know what I mean? Because, I mean, there's also, you want to put a science to it, especially once you get an idea of what we're going for, the what it needs to fit into and what it needs to stand out a part of. But yeah, man, we're gonna do this again. I'm enjoying it. I mean, I'll try it a couple of times. If you guys don't like it, we'll drop it. But I don't know. I get a real kick out of this. I get a real kick out of this. Next up, the weekend box office. Let's get it. So, Captain Marvel actually came in at $150 million over the weekend. From what I understand, it actually broke a lot of records too, especially box office for female solo film, female solo superhero film. Also the biggest debut for comic book hero that supersedes Black Panther, because Black Panther actually was introduced in Civil War. So that's pretty damn good to actually come in like that. Still haven't seen it yet, but hopefully it's worth it. Even if it's not, it already made the money anyway. But shoot, that means just more comic book movies. It just be one that I just care less to see. But I'm gonna go check it out. How to Train Your Dragon: The Hidden World. I gotta jump in on the series, but this came in at 14 million over the weekend. Tyler Perry's A Medea Family Funeral, 12 million over the weekend. The Lego Movie 2, the second part, 3 million over the weekend. And Alita Battle Angel rounding out the top five at 3 million over the weekend. So that's pretty much it right now. Captain Marvel is ahead of everything. I mean, blown everything over the weekend, but it didn't really have much competition, to be quite honest. Green Book came in as a sixth man. Isn't It Romantic? 7. Greta, 8. Fighting with My Family, 9. I hear a lot of good things about that. And Apollo, 11. Um, Now I haven't heard much. Not, I don't know. Maybe I'm mixing up with another film, but either way, I'm gonna see if I could check that one out because I see that playing at a indie theater nearby me, so I'm gonna check that one out. Um, but Captain Marvel, man, congratulations, man. So I guess all the naysayers, y'all gotta eat crow. Know what I'm saying? But whether it's well deserved or not, at the end of the day, it made its money. I know there's a lot of discrepancies on the numbers, but at the end of the day, this is what it made, man. Especially in a good climate too, man. I mean, the bed's been made for this. I mean, it's all about the second weekend. We'll actually see how word of mouth rolls out for it. And what we got coming up next is the Aladdin trailer came out not too long ago. So I already did a review for it, but in broad strokes, I mean, I can't say it's bad because it's not a bad trailer at all. Will Smith looks good. I think he's gonna carry the film for the most part. It's just the aesthetic. It's nice to look at, but it doesn't seem like it exists. It seems less than a fairy tale. Even though it's coined as a TV show, I know what they're trying to say. It just doesn't seem real. It just seems like you're on a set. It really does look like a set. The colors they chose are nice. I mean, I thought it was gonna look more realistic, but it just looked very fairy tale esque, which may not be a bad thing, but it's just something intangible about it. It just doesn't seem like it's lived in. But that doesn't mean that I'm saying it's bad. It just means that right now I'm still looking for the reason why we made this. Javar, I think if there was an interest in Javar that would have came in or that would have actually emoted in the trailer, I think that would have been the tipping point for a lot of people. Because then people would have said, all right, we have a villain, like, you know, one of those delicious villains that's on camera. Like, they just come in and they just assume the role so well that it's all charisma. It's all charisma. You're just taken in and it could carry the film through. That would have probably been a tipping point, at least in the trailer. I don't know what he'll do in the film, but hopefully he actually stands out because as it stands, I'm still looking for the reason that makes me go, yes, I see why you did this. I see why we needed this realistic approach to the film or to this animation. Next up, Child's Play. Not too many of the major markets seem to really be talking about it, except the more niche of the YouTubers, but call me one of them. Because at the end of the day, this new Child's Play film, it's definitely on my radar. I'll be honest with you, but the kid Andy, I really wish he didn't look so. They didn't choose such an older child actor. They could have got somebody younger, more into the age range of what he was in the original film. You know, in the original film, I think he was like 8 or 9. You could have kept him 9ish, 10ish. You know what I mean? 11 top. This kid looks. What is he? 14? Like, what is he doing with a doll? And I think they're saying that they're trying to pass him off at 12. Like, at the end of the day, it just seems less intimidating if we're looking at it through his eye. I know by making him hearing impaired, it might bring him down in terms of give like no pun intended, gives him the handicap needed that a younger character would have given, because the younger he is through a more naive mindset will make that doll creepier. You know what I'm saying? So that's if you ask me, because I think that would I guess that's why they went with that kind of approach with this character. And I'm not exactly sure if it's confirmed, but from what I understand from all the pundits that I listen to and the trades that I've looked at, it seems that he is hearing impaired, and I think you actually see him with their hearing aid. But in any event, it's definitely something I'm interested in. I know the TV series is coming out. I know they're going with the AI approach, which I understand all the legal red tape for why they had to go with it, such a drastic take on it. But this take may, depending on how they play this, using technology as the source of power, but still making it creepy because it's animatronic, it has no feelings, but also the logical approach with it that motivates it for why it does what it does within the parameters that the film gives it, due to like whatever the AI, how it learns. I really think that it is a real small, narrow margin, but if you hit it, you could have something very special on your hands. But that's really if you're struggling to see this cup half full. But from what I've seen from the trailer, I need to see more. I need to see more. It doesn't look bad, but I don't know. It seems like a Netflix film to me so far. But this is just a trailer. We'll see when they drop the trailer too.
Next up, Zack Snyder, and he has a new movie coming up with Netflix called Army of the Dead. And it's interesting. It's almost like him going right back to his roots, since he came out in 2004 with Dawn of the Dead. So this is reported from directly from Den of Geek, and as it states, it's been actually gestating for a while, and they're now trying to bring this project to light. As we already know, he had other films that he was tangled up with, from Watchmen to the superhero, then getting pulled completely into the superhero genre with DC's Man of Steel, then BVS, then everything falling apart, nearing him leaving from the Justice League film. So now that he's over at Netflix, he's actually reportedly excited about it because, as he says in quotes, there's no longer any handcuffs on him. So this is going to be a beautiful thing. We spent most of the time these past couple of months since Justice League been out just wondering what's going on. Zack Snyder, his unfortunate situations, then all these new reports coming out that's kind of like muddying the waters. Now everybody's pushing for the release of the Snyder Cut. It's just great to like take a step back and know that Zack Snyder's name is coming back to the forefront and it's no longer attached to the superhero genre, which, if you ask me, I loved what he's done when you let him do what he does. It's always come out better than when they try to edit him down and they're trying to do too much cooks in the kitchen. But that was something that was beyond him. But when he makes his own film, the films are actually pretty good, if you ask me. And actually, it seems that people actually have a better gravitation towards his actual film when you see his version of it in the totality, as opposed to the assembly cut that the company seems to want to push out there, trying to hit all these type of barometers and build up something towards the future. So it's good to hear that he's actually moving forward with this. He's working with Netflix, and his wife will be producing the film as well. So this is going to be a good position for Zack Snyder. Down the line, we'll dig a lot deeper into this, because the article goes on to talk about a little bit more details, but we'll get into it later on in the week, because I also want to see what other information kind of rises to the surface. And especially in the week, he also has his director's cut panel that he has going on, where they're going to show the film and he can actually talk and do his commentary about the film. And a lot of great YouTubers that I actually watch are actually going to be out there to support it. I wish I could go, but at the end of the day, it's going to be a lot more information out there. And that wraps up for our second episode, So, like I said, we'll dig a little bit deeper in the week in it, onto the Zack Snyder's new Netflix venture, if you will. And we'll conclude today's episode, and it was actually good. Like I said, just keep following what we got going on here. We're just getting started, just trying to get our feet to the ground. Just bear with me, but I'm having a great time. As for us over here at the Flicks, Picks, and the Nitpicks, this is your boy Mo, and like, comment, and subscribe. Until next time, chill.